can't breathe, started to have a panic attack. These things pretty much come into reality of certain people that have social anxiety, like people with AS, for example, like me. When it comes down to it, basically, with all this sort of thing, it just tends to blow out of proportion. Everybody tends to maybe think the worst of us when we have these social anxiety attacks or whatever it may be, but we know in our being what it's like, sort of thing. When it comes to large groups, however, when it comes down to, as I said before, socialising, however, in large groups, sometimes I get so overwhelmed or I get so tired, exhausted. Basically, sometimes also another thing is when I get so overwhelmed, my fight, flight, fright response kicks in, and then my mind races and stuff, and then it's like everything's going on overdrive, and it's like trying to get everything back to reality in a quick succession, but sometimes it doesn't always work, pretty much. Also, another way of looking at it, basically, with this fight-flight response, when it kicks in, however, my hands get sweaty, my heart races, I get all sweaty myself, and I get all shaky, and I feel like I'm likely to throw up. It's like the whole world is spinning, pretty much. Sometimes, the worst case scenario, if I'm not lucky enough, I'll probably faint, you know, black out for a bit. Sometimes when the heart races and all that, and the adrenaline's pumping, keeping on moving, you know, basically the factor of it all is basically, you know, what am I to do to get out of that situation when I'm having these social anxiety attacks, sort of thing. And when those things get overwhelmed, as I said before, I try to remove myself from everyday situations that is too much for me. Enough is enough, sort of thing. I try to now learn to actually talk to someone that's there in that group. Hey, can you please excuse me? I need to pop out for a bit of fresh air or something. And hopefully they may be able to understand what's going on. It's basically a good form of communicating to that particular someone that you may be in a group, to let them know what's going on if you can, before that persists and actually, you know, rise to the level of basically what am I doing here, sort of thing, and how can I do better myself, you know. Sometimes some people may tend to think that, as I said before in one of my videos, that when I walk out without my self-explanation, that they think I'm rude, crude and that. But as I said, I'll repeat this is not because I'm rude and crude. I need my time out stage to basically reflect everything around me, and just to know what's going to happen next after my social anxiety attacks and everything else that it gets so overwhelming of my meltdown stage, or whatever it will be leading up to that stage, so that hopefully everything will be back to normal in reality when I do come back to you. Like I said, 9 times out of 10 I am getting better with certain things of what's going on around me, be it whatever it is. Sometimes I feel afraid to maybe speak out what's going on around me, fear of what people may think or say, or even just the fear of people laughing at me, thinking, oh, it's all in my head, or that I'm crazy or whatever. But this does happen, and then sometimes in reality, you know, if something did happen, what would they do, you know, if they see someone like me in the streets having these type anxiety attacks? You know, I am not seeking attention when these social anxiety attacks occur. I'm not seeking out sympathy. I'm just reaching out to you guys for people to understand me and actually have empathy on me when it happens, pretty much. Because like as I have been with all walks of life of different people have different needs of certain times of day, regardless what it may be. So it needs to be basically a give and take sort of thing. So if something happens to you, I'll do it for you, but if something happens to me, hopefully maybe someone can actually understand it and know what's going on, and actually just reach out to help me in time of need when I need it. You know, despite having social anxiety, you know, I want to be able to feel confident and at ease with myself despite it all, even though many people have noticed that I may come across confident, cool, calm, collected and all that. But then again, you know, with others around me, however, when these social anxiety happens, it's like some kind of enemy or a dark force that's taking a control of my body. And there's sometimes when these panic attacks with that social anxiety attacks and withdrawals and whatnot that comes into play, it's like, what? You know, people may blank out for a moment or for a time, not knowing what to do, basically. And then again, I don't blame them, even if they haven't, you know, met someone like me or met someone else that has that same similar problem of those social anxiety attacks, because everybody's different, obviously, how they control it and how they go about it, so to speak. So, like I said, I'm not seeking sympathy here. It's just about basically having the right people around me for support at the given moment of time. Sometimes, however, when I'm having a social anxiety attack or having that social anxiety factor on me, when I'm hanging around you, regardless how long the time of day it is, be it an hour or two, or even if I am willing enough to stretch out my hours to spend those hours with you, basically that I am making the effort and having the courage to actually socialise with you. Sometimes, like, I feel that the social anxiety sometimes when I do try to socialise, as I said before, does wear me out pretty much to the point that, you know, many people think that I'm rude and crude, and sometimes I exhaust real easily, so to speak, and I'm not like as if exhausting as in I'm bored or something kind of exhaustion. It's the sort of exhaustion I'm talking about is basically, it's like I'm pushing myself so much to just be with you and stuff, and it's just like, I shouldn't have to push myself that hard, even though now in 2010 now I feel as if it could be a burnout maybe as well when I do this interaction with you guys, be it, you know, being at a beach with you guys playing volleyball, or be it at a party, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, you know, please respect me for if I withdraw myself out of the zone of wherever I'm socialising at that time, and hopefully maybe at a later day I can come back to you, no matter what it might be, time of day. But sometimes time is an important factor here of this all. Social anxiety, however, also for me, it has been an ongoing battle for quite some time that I can't recall for how long, however. Sometimes with my social anxiety, it's like I'm getting ready for war or a battle of my day sometimes. Like, some days it's like my depression. I get up in the mornings, you know, trying to feel positive and stuff, and sometimes it does help that if I have some self-meditation or something to really get me going, sort of thing, in the day. No matter what, however, though, I just feel that I need that time to just be able to stand up for this battle, whatever it may be it depression or what I'm talking about, social anxiety. Many people have known me, as I said so many times before, as a silent, socially awkward kind of girl when I first come out and about, pretty much when I'm in a large group of new surroundings, new people, sort of thing. Sometimes it can become a barrier for me, and having my walls up, sort of thing. I don't mean to have these walls up sometimes when I first meet people, you know, but I am starting now to try and learn to have the courage to talk people out sometimes. But then again, as I said, you know, letting people in, even though some people complain that I don't let some of them in because it's again the trust factor and all that's been going on around me, you know, despite it all of what you may think of me, of this, or whatever it may be, this is the type of anxiety I have. There's more to me than what a book has enclosed, even if the book is closed. As they say, never judge a book by its cover. There's so many more to know about me, even if that book is closed, ready to explore and get to know me. Like I said, if you choose to, basically that's your choice. But at the end of the day, you know, get ready for maybe some surprises. But, you know, that's great if you are giving me that time of day, basically socialising with me, be it with these anxiety attacks, depression, and everything else that I do so come about with. You know, I want to give you guys the heads up for the ones that has been trying to be supportive of me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, sort of thing, and hopefully something good will happen for me to give back to you. With social anxiety now, however, I can now overcome any of my struggles or weaknesses, basically, as well as the battles, by finding some coping mechanisms, no matter what it may be, that will not fix me as such, but make me feel better, to a point that hopefully I can reenact with yous and whatnot. We need to remember, though, however, we are in control of everything that we do or want to do, no matter what. We don't need anything to define us, but to keep moving forward, so to speak. But even though with all this, I believe that, you know, anything can happen for a reason, regardless of the social anxiety and that sort of thing. Well, this is the end of social anxiety, pretty much, or living with social anxiety, as well as the AS and all these other predispositions of conditions that I'm going to bring about as well. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Basically, my contacts is below. If you need to contact me, PM me through Twitter or my Facebook page of AspieAnswersAll. But remember that though, if you are on my AspieAnswersAll page and you want to private message me there, that is supposed to be a user-friendly page for me to address shared videos on there as well as on YouTube, basically, and also a safe haven so that people doesn't feel judged, and that if they just need someone to talk to, sort of thing. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.